Talmor, Shishin Magachi. Talmor is my home. My family have worked the land for generations. My gran says the island does not belong to us, but we belong to the island. And we must be ready, for a great evil is coming, and death follows with it.
Listen and subscribe to the latest season of Undertow, The Harrowing, a Storyglass production presented by Realm, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
Hello world, and welcome back to another episode of Thanks for Coming In, the show where I speak to fellow actors about their journey through this wild industry, and then they tell me a couple audition stories. As previously noted, and I will keep saying this is being recorded in advance due to scheduling conflicts. So there's that as a little note. And therefore I don't really have any, banter at the top because I don't know what's going on in the world right now. I'm speaking to you from the past. Pretty crazy. Anywho, today on the show we have Mallory James Mahoney. She is currently starring in the Disney Channel series Bunk'd, and you may have also seen her in On My Block or the remake of Adventures in Babysitting. She's such a kind, sweet young girl, and it was a pleasure to talk to her. So here's my conversation with Mallory. And welcome to the show, Miss Mallory.
Hi!
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Great. I love this background setup that you have going on. It looks
Thank
so
you. It's just
beautiful.
my living room,
Oh my
but
God,
thank
it's
you.
gorgeous. Love that. So I'm very excited to have you on the show today and talk about everything that you're working on and the new season of Bunk'd, which I'm so excited for. But I want to take you back to the start of your journey and ask you, what is it that made you want to become an actor?
Well, my story is actually kind of interesting. When I was about 5 years old, I went to a play with my parents, and I was just sitting there and I was watching them up on stage, and something just clicked in my head. I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be. And so I told my parents, and I was really shy as a little kid. So they kind of laughed at me, and they're like, there's no way you would like doing that. They're like, it'll freak you out. You won't want to do it at all. And so I asked them for like a year, and finally they said, okay, you know what? We'll put her in a local theater. It'll probably just scare her out of it. She'll realize she doesn't like it. I loved it. I booked a solo, and yeah, I found an agent since then, and I've been working and trying to achieve all my goals.
That's amazing. How did you convince your parents to take you and do this professionally?
Honestly, I just asked them every day. I said, like, how can I do this? This is what I want to do. And they didn't believe me for the longest time. But after long enough, they're like, okay, we need to show her that she probably won't like this. And it kind of backfired on them.
Joke's on them. Sorry, mom and dad. So, okay, you decide that you want to do this. You're bugging your parents. And what is like the first film or television or commercial role that you do that you're on like an actual set?
The first commercial that I got was actually a Chuck E. Cheese commercial.
Amazing.
That was local in Texas. And it's really funny because I was in elementary school at the time, and so I left school for the day to go film, and I didn't tell any of my friends what I was doing, but then they saw me like a couple months later on TV. They're like, "Is that what you were doing?" I was like, "Yeah." They were like, "So you left school all day to go play at Chuck E. Cheese?" They were all very jealous of me.
I was gonna say, I bet that caused a lot of drama in your elementary school. That's amazing. So at what point did you guys come out to LA and start making that journey?
I came out to LA when it was after my Chuck E. Cheese commercial. I think I was about uh 7 years old, and I actually, before I even left, I did another short film in Texas called Dig.
Hmm.
But then I came out here when I was 7. I did my first pilot season out here, and yeah.
And for the listeners who don't know what pilot season is, it is like a
Oh yes.
brutal 3 months where actors go out and we audition for every single pilot that's going to hit network television, cable television the next season, and it is wild.
Yes, so many auditions. It's crazy.
So okay, so you do your first pilot season, and was there anything that like came of that first pilot season, or did you have to convince your parents even more, like, no, I still want to stay, I still want to do it?
My parents were very supportive by that point, but I was really lucky. I booked during my first pilot season,
Oh my gosh.
but I didn't book right away. Actually, it's an interesting story. I went into the audition for a pilot called Sober Companion,
Mm.
and I was really sick at the time. I did not get much sleep the night before because of that, and so I went in, and my character in one of my scenes, I had to say like a few digits of pi
Mm.
and didn't remember the numbers. Um, so I'm in the scene and I had total brain fog at the time. So I was like trying to remember all the numbers, and I just said 3.14 and then my mom's phone number because I couldn't remember the rest of the numbers. So needless to say, I bombed that audition, and then the project got shelved for a couple months. And when it came back, they asked me to audition again. And during that second audition, I worked really hard to make sure I knew every number of pi, and I booked it, which was amazing. And I
That's
actually still
incredible.
remember like the first 9 digits of pi to this day. Yeah.
You were traumatized from that first audition. It's stuck in your brain.
Yes. Yeah, I made sure I remember those numbers now.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Bunk'd, because you've been on this show for how many years now? So many years.
About 4 years. Yeah, I started in season 3.
That's amazing. And now your character is graduating to become a camp counselor.
Yes.
So what is that like for you as an actor? I mean, you've kind of grown up on this show and with this family, and now you get to be the adult.
Absolutely. It's really exciting because I started when I was 12. So I truly have grown up on this show. I've changed so much during it. And I like that over the years, they've also let my character Destiny change with me.
Hmm.
We've had like personality developments and stuff that kind of correlated at the same time and stuff, which is really nice.
Yeah.
But getting this new responsibility for her is something that I think she deserves because she has, I mean, been around for a while, so it's really nice, and it's really cool because I'm like considered like a veteran on set, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I personally consider myself that, but it's really nice.
That's adorable. Well, we're always learning as actors, and there's always more to learn. But yeah, I mean, you've been a lead on a show for several years now. You are a veteran, which is funny to say considering you're still so young.
Yeah, I'm like 17. I'm a veteran. Sure, go
um,
with that.
well, that's what's interesting about this industry, though. Like, there's not really any other industries where at 17 you can know more than somebody who's just entering it at 30.
Absolutely, it's a wild industry, but it's kind of nice how flexible it is.
And you were also in Adventures in Babysitting, another Disney film. What was that like? I loved the original Adventures in Babysitting. So I was so stoked to see them doing a remake. How was
Yes.
that? Filming that? Was it incredible? Because it looked
It
incredible.
was so much fun. So we filmed it in Vancouver, Canada.
Hmm.
So it was really cool. It was like a kind of just like mini vacation away. I loved every moment of it. My whole cast I got along amazing with.
Hmm.
They were my second family. So it was so much fun for all of us. We were all in a hotel together. And actually, fun story. Our hotel rooms, I had one of my castmates above me and one below me. So that meant that, oh, and one next to me. So that meant that my room was the designated party room on Saturday nights. We would all come to my room and we would hang out. We were singing songs till like midnight, hanging out, watching movies, whatever. We were just having so much fun together.
I love that. Well, and it's fun to be in shows and films that are family centric because, there's a lightness to it, and
Absolutely.
you guys end up creating these beautiful bonds through these comedies that you're creating. And, for you it must be really cool to be a part of, and such a large part of the Disney family.
I love it. I think Disney's wonderful. I've loved everyone I've met through them too. So I've been really lucky. I love it all.
So growing up, what was your favorite Disney film?
Ooh. I was definitely a big Cinderella fan. Cinderella is
Really?
my favorite Disney princess.
Oh, that's
But I
sweet.
also love like Lion King,
Yeah,
Nemo, all that stuff. It's
all
hard
of
to
it.
pick just one.
Well, there's so many good ones. I mean, my lord, they've put out everything that's great.
I know.
um, but you've done things outside of Disney too, so I'd like to talk a little bit about that as well. So you were on My Block on Netflix. And how
Yes.
was that for you as somebody who's grown up in this very, purified world of Disney? How was it going over to On My Block?
It was a little strange. I guess I was mostly worried about like how other people would react to seeing it
Yeah.
because for me, I love playing stuff that's totally different from who I am.
Mm.
And my character Ainsley Riches was pretty much as far from who I am as you can possibly be. But I find that really interesting because I like playing someone so different from me and I get to truly create this whole new personality.
Hmm.
And it was really fun because also the creator of On My Block, I knew her from a pilot that I did with her.
Oh,
And she actually wrote the part of Ainsley for me on My Block because we got along so well and we're
love
still
that.
friends and hang out all the time.
I love that. So what do you want to do? You're so young. You have so much ahead of you. Um and obviously on my block, Bunk'd isn't going to last for, 20 seasons. Well, maybe it could.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is breaking records already. I
Yeah.
could be putting my foot in my mouth there. But what do you want to do as an actor? What do you want to explore?
I would love to, of course, keep working, but I would really like to direct,
Hmm.
write. I find different things behind the camera really interesting. But I'm interested in doing like other movies, different films, and all sorts of just different genres
Yeah.
because I find so many different ones interesting.
Is there anything that you gravitate towards? Like if there was a film that you have watched that is maybe one of your favorite films, is there something that you'd like to make that's like that?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a good question. Um, I like kind of dark stuff. I think would be interesting.
Yeah.
I've never done a horror movie, and I would love to do that. I think it'd be really fun to like play like a creepy horror character.
Yeah. Horror
I
movies are
also
fun.
one goal of mine that I would love to have is if I got to play like a twin, where I get to be
Ooh,
two people of myself.
that's a
I think
challenge.
that would be so much fun because, like, parent trap stuff like that, creating two totally different personalities, characters, different accents, whatever. I think that's really interesting
Okay,
and a
so
challenge.
so
It'd
it
be a
sounds
fun
like we need
challenge.
to write a movie where you play twins that's also a horror film.
Sounds perfect. Right up my alley.
That's amazing. So you said you want to get into the other side of it. What what kind of films there would you like to kind of get into as far as like directing and writing? Like, do you like watching like comedy or like drama? What do you think would be what you'd
I
want to
watch
create?
both. I feel like drama would be interesting for directing because, or at least something single cam
Mm-hmm.
where I can do like more interesting shots, I
Mm-hmm.
think would be really fun. Um, but I like both. Like I've never directed before, so I'd be happy to do anything.
Yeah, you just got to do it. Get a couple of your castmates and just do something in between takes.
Yeah.
Well, on this show, we like to share audition stories that are, funny and upsetting or whatever you wish to share. Is there something you want to share with the listeners?
Well, let me see. Fun audition stories. Um, I had one role for a movie. It was called Gifted, and I did not get that part. And actually, the girl who booked it is McKenna Grace, and she did
Mm,
amazing.
yeah, love
But
her.
it's really interesting because one of the other characters in the movie was played by Will Bowie Jr., who then went to Bunk'd, and he was one of the campers with me. So if I had booked that, it would have been really weird. We would have met each other years before.
That's so funny.
So that would have been very funny, but
I love that. I mean, it's interesting, people think that the industry is so large and it's really so small. Everyone knows each other. It's a small
yeah,
knit
it's
group
such
of
a small
people.
world. Seriously.
It really is. That's a good one. I like that. What else? What else do I want to ask you? I mean, I feel like, you're at this really cool point in life. You're 17. Do you have plans to go to college, or are you thinking of maybe putting it off? I mean, everybody, especially if you grow up in this industry, everybody has a different route that they want to
Absolutely.
take.
I would still like to go to college. I love learning. So that is a big thing for me. I don't know if I'd necessarily do it in like the normal time schedule of right when I finish high school, I would do it. It'll all depend on if I'm working or not. And I would also love to travel and see the world.
Yeah.
But definitely at some point I do want to go to college because I do love learning and I'd like to take classes.
Yeah.
And I do online school right now, so maybe I'd do online college.
Yeah, and there's
My
so
plan
many of
for
them
me.
now.
Yeah,
There's so
it's
many of them.
crazy. There's so many different ways to learn now.
So what would you want to study? Would you want to study acting, or would you want to go into a different field just as far as
I would
learning?
probably go into a different field. I love science.
Ooh.
Um, so I think I would probably take some sort of environmental course as my major, maybe environmental engineering I'm interested in.
Wow. That's a
Yeah.
whew, that would go right over my head. The second you said engineering, I was like, nope, I'm out. Thank you very much. That's
Yeah,
cool.
I'm a little weird.
We love a nerd. Women nerds are great. Kidding me? We keep the world
Yeah.
running. That's cool. Environmental engineering. What kind of has made you want to help the environment in that way?
I've always, since I was little, I care so much for the environment, and I want to be able to make a difference
Mm.
and help better our world. One thing I say all the time is, like, even my parents have taught me to say this, of when you go into some place, make sure that you leave it better than it was when you came into it.
Aw.
And I think that applies most to Earth.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that I leave it better than it was when I entered.
Yeah.
And I want to help future generations to have a better place to live.
That's beautiful. That's one of the things that I respect most about your generation, and I think social media does have a lot of influence on this, is that you guys are much more tuned in to the issues of the world than even my generation was, because we didn't have access to all this stuff all the time and people talking to each other on the internet and saying, hey, this is going on. So I think it's really cool that your generation is really like rising up. I mean, y'all are cool.
Yeah. Well, we're trying.
It's great. It makes me feel good about the future and what happens when I'm off of this planet.
Yeah, hopefully it all goes well.
Hopefully all goes well, yeah. I also read that you do a lot of work with animal rescues, and I'd love to talk to you about that because I'm a big animal rescue person myself. I literally just rescued a new husky, and she is
Oh, I
adorable.
love huskies.
Oh yeah, she's got the bright blue eyes. She's white, and she has like a brown back, which is super weird. Um,
Oh.
yeah, very beautiful. But what kind of got you into that? And is that something that you want to pursue too into your adult years?
Absolutely. I would love to pursue it because I've been an animal lover pretty much since I was born. I loved my dog we had, and I actually am so much of an animal lover that when I was 6 years old, I found out that eating meat was eating animals.
Mm-hmm.
And when I found that out, I was like, never again, not eating meat. So I've been a vegetarian since I was 6 years old.
Amazing.
And it's pretty much purely because I love animals so much, and I found that out. I was like, no way, never again. um, but I love caring for animals. There's tons of organizations I've been working with, and I just think animals are so innocent and beautiful, and we deserve to protect them.
It's so true. It's so funny. When I was a child, I loved cows so much that my grandmother made me cow sheets, and I would not eat a hamburger until I was like 7. And then by the time I was, I don't know, in my teens, I was like, I don't know that I really like this. And I don't eat land animals anymore. That's what I say. I say if they can walk, I don't eat them.
I love cows too. They're amazing.
I mean, they're just great. And then like you go on Instagram and you see those videos.
Like, they're just so sweet.
Yes. Do you ever go up to what is it called? The Gentle Barn?
Yes. I love the Gentle Barn. It's amazing.
It's like I wish I could just pay to sit with the cows for like hours. Like I just want to go there, sit with them, love on them, and that's it.
Yeah, and like I'm happy to just sit here, hug a cow all day long, brush it, care for it. I would love to live at the Gentle Barn.
Right?
I feel like it's the perfect place to live.
It really is. Either that or you have to create your own barn. And I mean, I
would love to open my own animal rescue.
Yeah?
Would be really fun, yeah.
It would be really cool. It would be a lot. It'd be really cool. You'd have to hire like a lot of people to take care of the animals because that's a lot.
But hey, if I do, you gotta come visit.
Hey, if you do that, I am in on it with you. Let me know where to show up. I will help. I'll clean up the cow poop. I don't care.
I'll keep you posted.
Thank you. What else? Do you have anything else that you're working on that you'd like to share?
Pretty busy with Bunk'd right now.
Yeah.
It's been really fun. We have lots of episodes this season. We have season 6. It's pretty crazy. Lots of new stuff. We're at a new camp.
Ooh.
New campers.
Yeah.
We're now in Dusty Tush, Wyoming.
Dusty Tush.
We gotta have those amazing town names.
Dusty Tush. What a name.
Yeah, it's interesting. And we're also no longer at Camp Kikiwaka. We are at Ranch Kikiwaka.
Oh.
So because we're at a ranch, we have a ton of animals, which I'm loving. We've had cows, horses, chickens, a lot more. I can't even think of them all. We've had a pig, llama.
Oh my God, a llama?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Or it was an alpaca. Sorry, but
one of them. Much fun. Did they spit on you at all?
They did not spit on us.
That's good.
We were warned that they might, but they didn't, so we were fine.
I love that. Oh my gosh, how fun is that? So now you get to interact with all these animals on set all the time. Oh my gosh.
Yes, it's amazing.
That honestly sounds like the dream.
It really is. I'm so happy. I'm having a great time.
That's amazing. Well, it's been so lovely talking to you. You are so fun. Where can people follow you on social media?
At Mallory James Mahoney on Instagram.
Perfecto. Thank you so much for coming on, Mallory.
Thank you.
Thank you again to Mallory for coming on the show. Make sure to watch Bunk'd on the Disney Channel. What's up? Reliving my Disney Channel days. I always wanted to do that ear thing, you know, where they're like, my name is blah, 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 and you're watching the Disney Channel. Anyway, thanks again. And make sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening to it right now. Hit those, rating and review thingamabobs and leave us some love. And tune in next week for a brand new episode. And as always, thanks for coming in.
Nowadays, trends and news cycles change faster than we can blink. But there are some things that withstand the test of time. And if you're looking for a connection to something timeless, and maybe also a glimpse of life at a slower pace, I believe everyone can relate to the very human experiences explored in Jane Austen's novels. And that's where I come in. My name is Alison Larkin. I'm a writer, comedian, and narrator and host of the Jane Austen podcast with Alison Larkin. I spent a lot of my childhood in the part of England where Jane Austen lived and wrote, and now that I live in the States, nothing gives me a sense of homecoming quite like narrating her books. On this show, you'll listen to award-winning narration. I'll give myself a pat on the back for that. As well as conversations with actors, writers, and other fascinating people who all share a passionate love for Jane Austen. So please, join me as we embark on a wonderful journey through Jane Austen's work. Be sure to listen and subscribe to the Jane Austen podcast with Alison Larkin, wherever you get your podcasts.